Hi, my name is what? My name is who? My name is Chicka Controversy.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the Kamikaze?
What it do, Jive Turkeys? Welcome back to the Controversy. I'm your host, Elliott-Carter, and today you can just call me Stan because I'm going to be talking about one of the greatest rappers of all time, the freaking rap god himself, Eminem. Yes, he is in my top 5, and I've always been a fan since I was in elementary school and I wasn't allowed to be listening to him. He's inspired me in so many ways, and I love him so much to death. So I'm going to be giving you my list in order of from least to greatest of his albums, and I'm going to name some of my favorite songs from some of these albums as well. This list is just going to be his studio albums, his solo acts, but I'm not going to be including the 8 Mile soundtrack, Curtain Call, the Re-Up, Shady XL, the Bad Meets Evil stuff he did with Royce, or the D12 albums, which they are all great. Definitely check them out, but I'm not going to include these in the list. I'm also not including his first official studio album, which is Infinite, but that's a good one as well. I'm only going to be talking about the ones he did under the Aftermath label. Dr. Dre definitely hit gold with this white boy. Without further ado, let's check my list out. Number 9, which a lot of Eminem fans will probably agree with this one. My least favorite Eminem album would be Revival. Revival was, it was kind of preachy, and it was woke Eminem, which people are not really fans of, which I do think I agree with a lot of his opinions and stuff like that, but we weren't really waiting for that. We wanted to hear that lyrical stuff. We wanted to hear some of the personal stuff, which I think what is slept on about this album is he does talk about a lot of the stuff from his previous album, the relationship with his daughter and his past love relationships as well. But I think what lost people in this album was a lot of the preachy stuff. And to be honest with you, it's a very forgettable album. My favorite song on the album, though, was Like Home, which was with Alicia Keys, where he's pretty much dissing Donald Trump. And he's saying that America, we could do better. Also, please do not sleep on this one. The Chloroseptic remix he did with 2 Chainz, amazing. He killed that verse. Probably one of his best, verses of all time. Seriously. It's him just being angry at everybody bashing this album. He let people have it. Number 8 on my list is the Relapse album. A lot of people like Relapse. I'm just not a fan of it. Relapse came after his little bit of a hiatus after his best friend Proof died, and he just started getting off drugs. He started becoming clean. He was starting to reinvent himself as a rapper. So I don't hate this album, but it is on the bottom of my list as well. I just didn't like a lot of the singing he did on the album. I did like the content, though, the struggles he had with drugs. I can understand that, I liked where he was coming from in his message. I just didn't like some of the flow he was giving. One of my favorite songs of all time that he has, though, is on this album, though. It's beautiful. It's a very good song about mental health and, just loving yourself as well. I also like Insane. I love the intro to Insane. I was born with a dick in my brain. Yeah, fucked in the head. My stepfather said that I sucked in the bed. I love that song. It's so funny. Number 7 on my list is Encore. Encore was probably one of his darkest albums. You could tell he was definitely on something. In interviews, he actually said he doesn't remember recording a lot of it because he was, of course, on drugs and drunk all the time. He had a lot of people from Shady Aftermath on there, like D12, Obi Trice, and 50 Cent on there at the time. But you could just tell it was a little darker than usual. Like, he's usually more upbeat and jokey. Of course, he had Rain Man and Just Lose It, but this was more of a, you could tell, you could start seeing a little bit more of his depressed side. And my 2 favorite songs on this album were Just Lose It and Like Toy Soldiers. That was a very good song right there. And it was, like Toy Soldiers, the video, kind of foreshadowed the death of Proof. That was very sad. You watch that video now, it kind of makes you very depressed. Rest in peace, Proof, by the way. Alright, number 6 on my list, we have Recovery. Recovery is like the sequel to Relapse. And even he says that Relapse album was which I agreed with him. Recovery kind of showed, while he's reinventing himself, he started doing songs with people like Lil Wayne. I would have never in a million years thought he would have done a song with Lil Wayne at that time. Because he was real seclusive to his circle. The fact that he branched out and tried something different was amazing. The album did talk a lot about his recovering of being from that relapse and the struggles he had of moving on with life, whether it be past relationships or his drug use and even the death of his best friend Proof. My 2 favorite songs from that album was Love the Way You Lie. I can't believe he did a song with Rihanna. Gold, it worked. Amazing song. And of course, No Love as well with Lil Wayne. Number 5 would be his recent album, Music to Be Murdered By. Music to Be Murdered, but I don't really feel has much of a theme. It's just straight bars. And I like that. Right now in his career, he has nothing to prove. He doesn't need to prove that he's a legend. He doesn't have to gain anybody's respect. He just likes to do it for the sport. And I feel like this album right here was just him stretching his leg, rhyming the best he can, and just having fun. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I like that he was doing songs with like people like Q-Tip and Black Thought because, you know, he does better when he has other people on the song putting that pressure on there. And of course, he had the Slaughterhouse Boys on there helping as well. I love this album. I think it's slept on a lot. And the fact he did a song with Young M.A. too, that was very surprising too. Eminem surprises me every time he drops an album. I never expect some things that he does. And the two best songs on this album were Godzilla and Ya Ya. Godzilla, oh, that's my ringtone right now. I love it so much. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Alright, number 4 on my list. A lot of people are probably going to disagree with this one, but I actually love this album. It's Marshall Mathers LP Volume 2. It's the sequel to his first one. It didn't get a lot of critical love, but I loved it. It didn't even really seem like a sequel. It felt like a reunion, if that makes any sense. Because like he did like a sequel to Stan, which would be the bad guy, coming from the point of view of Stan's little brother. I thought that song blew my mind. I didn't even, like, when I heard the song the first time, I was like, holy crap, this is great. But no, I love the fact that he was bringing it back to like his most successful album and also stretching his lyrical legs and trying new things. My two favorite songs on this album were The Monster and Love Game, which featured Kendrick Lamar, and I was waiting to see a Kendrick and Eminem collaboration, and boy, that song is slept on in my opinion. I think they both like gave each other the best verses that they could. They worked really good together. I want to see more of them together. The number 3 spot on my list comes from his first studio album with Aftermath, which would be the Slim Shady LP. The song that introduced us to the world of this blonde, cornball, trailer trash white boy himself, Eminem. And yeah, boy, did he like make the world stop when he dropped Hi, My Name Is. It was a bunch of head turn. Like, what did he just say? Did he just say he killed his dad? Did he just talk about his mom? Like, we ain't never heard nothing like that. Of course, there's a lot of shock value in hip-hop when it comes to sex and drugs and stuff like that and gangster stuff. It's like, hip-hop is a very subjective art form, but the way Eminem came for it for the first time, we were like, oh my god, he's going to make a lot of enemies. Some would say he would be like the first 6ix9ine that trolled a lot of the audience. The only difference between him and that rainbow-haired fuck, though, he can actually rap. But yeah, when I heard that song on the radio, my mom said immediately, you are not listening to this guy. And I had to get that album as soon as I could. His two best songs on that album are My Name Is and Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom is a very deep song that I can relate all the time when I look at my bank account. Number 2 on my list, man, this one, oh, very slept on album, Kamikaze. Kamikaze was motivated after the critical hate of Revival. And I think a lot of the hate from Revival was needed. I think he needed that push to be like, look, we know you can do better. And he works the best when he's mad. And boy, was he mad in Kamikaze. He was that old man yelling at the cloud. He was going at all these whack rappers nowadays. He was talking about a lot of his critics. He was going at Charlemagne the God. He had a lot of shots for MGK, which MGK came back with Rap Devil, and then MGK got killed with Killshot. So I loved it. I love it for the sake of hip-hop, man. He came with his guns out, and he started firing everybody. We heard some good tracks with him and Royce da 5'9". We got a collaboration with him and Joyner Lucas, which I was dreaming to see whenever I first heard Joyner Lucas. You can obviously see in Joyner Lucas's music that he's inspired from Eminem. Man, I was re-listening to it the other day. It still holds up. The two best songs on Kamikaze is The Ringer and Lucky You. Next on our list, we have The Eminem Show. The Eminem Show was actually inspired by The Truman Show, which was a movie from Jim Carrey where his life was revolved around a movie and a lot of people were just watching him daily. And Eminem was feeling that way at the time. He felt like his life was a show for everybody to just tune in and watch. This is his first album that he kind of got a little bit political, and it wasn't the last time he got a little bit political. And he constantly brought up this beef that he had with cannabis, which was pretty funny. Like a whole bunch of songs was throwing shots at him. And actually got a feature from his daughter Haley in the song My Dad's Gone Crazy, which I played that for my son the other day and he loved it. I had to censor a couple of words though. This album had the perfect balance of Eminem, Marshall Mathers, and Slim Shady. Best songs on this album were Superman and Till I Collapse. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. Till I Collapse is one of the best workout songs ever. And my number 1 spot, everybody knows what it is. It's a lot of people's favorite Eminem album. It is the Marshall Mathers LP. Yes, this one right here is where he kind of got comfortable in his spot with hip-hop. He was showing everybody the real him. And there's a song called The Real Slim Shady, because his debut album was the Slim Shady LP, which was just like, you know, we got a little glimpse of him, but he got more personal with the life with his ex-wife, the life with his kid, the situation with his mother, his drug use, and growing up in Detroit. So we got to know him on a personal level from the Marshall Mathers LP, but he was also, like, you know, on his funny, angry shit as well. And I think that right there was his staple in hip-hop for him, his road to becoming a legend. And I love the Marshall Mathers LP. The production was on point. That album has some of the best Dr. Dre beats I've ever heard in my life. You guys agree that Eminem is a rap god? Do you think he is a guest in the house of hip-hop? Sure, I guess. I understand that argument. But boy, is he renting to own. So let me know in the comments, what are your favorite Eminem albums of all time? Let me know some of your favorite songs of all time. Did you like my list? Did you disagree with them? I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments.
Help keep your brother out the streets. Subscribe to my dad's YouTube channel. Love, peace, and chicken grease.